Welcome to the Global Updates, your source for breaking news and trending stories from around the world. The evening of June 2nd, 2025, began like any other. Families gathered for dinner, televisions hummed with the latest news, air conditioners battled the early summer warmth. Then, it happened. Not with a bang, but with a sudden, eerie silence. Lights flickered once, twice, then surrendered to darkness. First in cities near the northern border. Then the outage cascaded south. Millions of American homes plunged into an unexpected twilight. It was a moment that would change everything. The initial confusion was palpable. People checked circuit breakers. They peered out windows, seeing only more darkness. Cell phone networks, suddenly overloaded, began to falter. Canada is not just a friendly neighbor, it is an energy giant. For decades, the United States has relied heavily on Canadian electricity. This reliance is not trivial. It is a fundamental part of America's energy equation. Vast quantities of hydroelectric power flow south. This power lights homes and runs factories. It keeps the American economy humming. Few Americans understood the sheer scale of this imported energy, until it stopped. The northern states are particularly dependent. New England, New York, and the upper Midwest draw significant power from Canadian grids. These grids are interconnected. They are designed for mutual support. But this design also creates a vulnerability. If Canada decides to withhold its supply, the impact is immediate and severe. The system is built on trust and long-standing. It wasn't just the electricity. Canada is also a critical supplier of oil to the United States, more oil than any other single country. This black gold travels south through a complex network of pipelines. It feeds American refineries. It fuels American cars, trucks, and airplanes. The U.S. economy runs on this oil. The cessation of these exports, alongside the power cut, was a double blow. It struck at the very heart of American energy security. The reliance on Canadian oil is immense. It has grown steadily over the years. Debates over pipelines like Keystone XL highlighted the strategic importance. But the sheer volume often gets lost in political rhetoric. We are talking about millions of barrels. The economic consequences of Canada's energy halt were immediate and brutal. Factories reliant on electricity ground to a halt. Assembly lines fell silent. Without power, modern manufacturing is impossible. The states most dependent on Canadian electricity saw an instant spike in unemployment claims. Businesses, small and large, faced an uncertain future. The just-in-time supply chains, already fragile, began to buckle under this new immense pressure. This was more than an inconvenience, it was an economic catastrophe in the making. Job losses would not be confined to manufacturing. The service sector would suffer immensely. Restaurants without power cannot serve food. Shops without lights cannot welcome customers. The digital economy, reliant on servers and internet connectivity, faced massive disruptions. Even the burgeoning EV industry, a supposed solution to energy woes, was crippled. No power meant no charging. No power meant difficulties in producing batteries and vehicles. The irony was bitter. A move towards a new energy future was stymied by old energy dependencies. The financial markets would react with predictable panic. Stock prices of energy-intensive industries would plummet. Life in the shadow's social fabric under strain. Beyond the economic numbers, the social impact of the Great Dimming was profound. Daily life, as Americans knew it, was upended. Imagine hospitals relying on backup generators, their fuel supplies dwindling. Critical surgeries postponed, the most vulnerable patients at risk. Schools would close, disrupting education and forcing parents to scramble for childcare. The rhythm of communities, built around powered infrastructure, would break down. This was not just about inconvenience, it was about safety and well-being. Communication, the lifeblood of modern society, faltered. Cell towers need power. Internet servers need power. Without them, information flow slows to a trickle. Rumors could spread faster than facts. Coordinating emergency responses would become a nightmare. Public safety itself would be compromised. Darkened streets invite crime. Traffic lights failing lead to chaos on the roads. The very fabric of social order would feel strained under the prolonged absence of a resource most people took for granted. The psychological toll would be significant. Uncertainty breeds anxiety. The Ottawa leveraged energy as a political chess piece. Canada's decision was a stunning display of political leverage. For years, the energy relationship with the United States was largely seen through an economic lens. It was about trade, about mutual benefit. But this act transformed energy into a potent political tool. Ottawa, often perceived as the junior partner in the North American relationship, suddenly held powerful cards. The U.S. administration, under President Trump, was clearly unprepared for such a bold move from its northern ally. It was a geopolitical wake-up call. The reasons behind Canada's drastic action likely stemmed from escalating trade disputes, perhaps disagreements over new EV manufacturing subsidies in the U.S. that disadvantaged Canadian industry, or disputes over resource management and environmental policies. Whatever the specific trigger, Canada chose to escalate dramatically. It demonstrated that its vast energy resources were not just commodities but instruments of national interest. This changed the dynamic of negotiations on all fronts, from trade to environmental policy to border security. This leverage has profound implications for international relations. It shows smaller nations, if they control critical resources, can exert significant influence over larger powers. Two nations entwined, the fragility of interdependence. The United States and Canada share the longest undefended border in the world. Their economies are deeply intertwined. Billions of dollars in trade cross that border every day. This interdependence has long been hailed as a model of international cooperation. Yet the energy crisis revealed the potential fragility within this close relationship. When one nation can cause such immediate and widespread disruption to the other, the foundations of that partnership are shaken. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. This was not just about energy, it was about the countless other sectors linked by cross-border supply chains. Automotive parts, agricultural products, consumer goods all rely on a smooth, predictable relationship. An energy dispute of this magnitude could easily spill over, triggering broader trade wars. Global shockwaves: how the world watches a power play. The Canada-US energy dispute did not occur in a vacuum. The world watched with rapt attention. Other major energy players like Russia and China would undoubtedly analyze the situation for opportunities and lessons. For nations often at odds with U.S. foreign policy, any sign of American vulnerability is noteworthy. Russia, a major oil and gas exporter itself, might see an opening to increase its influence in global energy markets or even offer itself as an alternative supplier, albeit with strings attached. China, a massive energy consumer and a growing global power, would also observe carefully. The dispute could highlight the risks of over-reliance on any single trading partner, a lesson China itself is learning in various sectors. It might also see the internal U.S. disruption as a moment of American distraction, potentially creating space for its own geopolitical maneuvers elsewhere. The stability of North America is a key component of global economic stability. A fracture here sends ripples everywhere. Global energy markets would react nervously. The price of oil, already sensitive to geopolitical tensions, would likely surge. Uncertainty about North American supply could create volatility across all energy commodities. The path to resilience: diversifying America's energy future. The Great Dimming of June 2025 was a harsh lesson. The U.S. could no longer rely on a single external source for energy. The priority was a radical rethinking of American energy strategy. True energy security lies in diversification. This means investing in a wider array of sources. Renewable energy must be at the forefront. Solar, wind, geothermal, and next-gen nuclear offer pathways to independence. Building a resilient modern grid is urgent. Investment in energy storage is crucial. A decentralized system with robust infrastructure is more secure. The economic ramifications of Canada's decision to cut off oil to the United States were immediate and profound. Stock markets trembled as energy companies saw their valuations plummet. The cost of gasoline soared, sending ripples through every sector from transportation to manufacturing. Small businesses, already struggling in a post-pandemic world, faced new challenges. Delivery costs surged, and the price of goods climbed, straining household budgets. The inflation rate spiked, leading to a decrease in consumer spending. Even Wall Street wasn't immune. Financial analysts scrambled to adjust their forecasts, and investors sought safer havens. The American economy, once seen as resilient, was now exposed to its vulnerabilities. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. In the midst of this economic turbulence, there was a renewed focus on innovation. Entrepreneurs and established businesses alike saw an opportunity in crisis. Investment in renewable energy technologies surged, creating new jobs and industries. The lesson was clear: economic security and energy security are intertwined. As America navigated these economic ripples, it became evident that a diversified energy portfolio wasn't just an environmental imperative, but an economic one too. The road ahead was challenging, but also filled with potential. The U.S. economy, known for its adaptability, began to pivot towards a future where energy independence. As America grapples with the economic aftershocks, a new dawn emerges on the horizon, the rise of renewable energy. The urgency of the situation has accelerated the transition towards sustainable power sources, positioning the United States to mitigate the impact of future trade tensions. Solar farms are sprouting across sun-drenched states like California, Arizona, and Texas. Wind turbines are transforming the landscapes of the Midwest, from Oklahoma to North Dakota. Each new installation not only generates clean energy, but also creates thousands of jobs in construction, maintenance, and technology sectors. Battery storage technology is advancing by leaps and bounds, allowing for more consistent energy supply and reducing reliance on fossil fuels. Electric vehicles are becoming more accessible, with charging stations popping up along highways and in urban centers, making long-distance travel on electric power a reality for more Americans. Federal and state governments are stepping up with incentives and grants encouraging both businesses and households to invest in renewable technologies. The private sector too is playing a pivotal role. Tech giants, automotive companies, and startups alike are pouring billions into research and development, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The environmental benefits are undeniable, but the economic advantages are equally compelling. Reduced dependence on foreign oil shields the economy from external shocks. Domestic energy production keeps more dollars circulating within the U.S., boosting local economies and fostering innovation. As America looks to the future, the path is clear. Diversifying the energy portfolio isn't just a strategy for environmental sustainability, it's a blueprint for economic resilience. The challenges are immense, but so are the opportunities. In the face of adversity, America is not just enduring, it's pioneering a new era of energy independence and economic strength. The journey towards a renewable future is not just a necessity, it's a promise of a cleaner, more secure and prosperous America for generations to come.